So I'm staring at my phone right now, and I just realized I lost $2,000 in 3 weeks. $2,000. Doh! I didn't gamble it away. I didn't buy anything stupid. I didn't even spend it. It just disappeared. Like someone reached into my digital wallet and said, "Nah, you don't need this anymore." And here's the really embarrassing part. I thought I was being smart. I thought I was investing. I read 3 articles, watched half a YouTube video, and decided I understood cryptocurrency well enough to throw my entire tax refund into something called SafeMoon. Spoiler alert, it was not safe, and there was definitely no moon involved. I need a donut. This is donut-level stress. So anyway, while I was sitting there feeling like the dumbest person alive, I started reading about financial bubbles. You know, trying to figure out where I went wrong. And I stumbled onto this story about tulips in the 1600s. Tulips. Apparently, a bunch of people in the Netherlands went absolutely insane over flowers. They spent their entire life savings on tulip bulbs. Bulbs! Not even the pretty flowers. Just the weird, lumpy things you plant in dirt. And then it all crashed and everyone lost everything. Wait a second. That's exactly what just happened to me. Except I lost money on internet coins with dog pictures instead of flower bulbs. 400 years later, and we're still doing the same dumb thing? Oh man, this is either really comforting or really depressing. Okay, so before we get into the whole tulip thing, let me just say, I thought I was the only person who kept making these kinds of mistakes. Like, I genuinely believed everyone else had figured out money, and I was just behind somehow. Like I missed the day in school where they explained how not to be broke all the time. But then I started looking into it, and holy cow! I mean, wow. Turns out I'm not alone. Not even close. According to a survey from 2023, about 64% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 64%. That's not a small group of confused people like me. That's basically everyone. And get this, the average American has about $6,194 in credit card debt. Which sounds bad until you realize some people have way more, and they're just living with it. Paying minimum payments forever while the interest piles up like dirty laundry. I've done that. I spent 2 years paying $50 a month on a $1,200 credit card bill and somehow still owed $1,100. I thought the bank made a mistake. Turns out that's just how interest works when you ignore it and hope it goes away. Then there was the time I bought a gym membership because it was only $30 a month and I used it exactly twice. Over 2 years. That's $720 for 2 workouts. I could have just paid $360 per workout and felt equally bad about myself. Oh, and I once invested $500 in a can't-lose stock tip from my cousin. The company sold flavored oxygen. Flavored oxygen. It went bankrupt in 4 months. So yeah, when I saw that crypto thing pop up on my feed promising 10 times returns in 90 days, my brain went, well, I'm due for a win, right? Narrator was not due for a win. But here's the thing that really got me. Why do I keep falling for this stuff? Why do we keep falling for this stuff? What is it about bubbles that makes otherwise normal people, people who can balance a checkbook and remember to pay rent, completely lose their minds? And more importantly, how do I stop being that person? All right, so let me tell you exactly how this went down. It's February, and I just got my tax refund, $2,300. I'm sitting there looking at my bank account thinking, wow, I'm rich, which is ridiculous because that's not even 1 month's rent. But whatever. My plan was simple. Put it in savings, be responsible, finally have an emergency fund like all those financial advice people keep yelling about. But then I'm scrolling through social media, and I see this post. Some guy I went to high school with, who, by the way, once tried to microwave a burrito with the foil still on, is posting screenshots of his crypto gains. He turned $500 into $4,000 in 2 months. 2 months! And I'm thinking, if that guy can do it, I can definitely do it. I'm way smarter than him. I've read books. I know how to use Excel. I'm basically a financial genius waiting to happen. So I start researching. And by researching, I mean I watched a 12-minute YouTube video and read the first 3 paragraphs of an article before getting distracted. The coin was called SafeMoon. The name alone should have been a red flag, But at the time, I thought, well, safe is good, and moon means it's going up, right? This is perfect. I did some quick math in my head. If I put in $2,000 and it goes up 400% like the video said it would, that's, let me count. 2,000 times 4 is $8,000. No, wait, that's not right. If something goes up 400%, that means it's 500% of the original. So that's $2,000 times 5, which is $10,000. Dough. No, wait. I'm confusing myself. Okay, 400% increase means the original 100% plus 400% more. So that's 500% total. So $2,000 times 5 equals $10,000. $10,000! I could pay off my credit card. I could fix my car. I could buy so many pizzas. Pizza. Focus! Okay, so I transferred the money, bought the coins, and then I just waited. The first week was amazing. The value went up to $2,400. I made $400 in 7 days. I felt like a genius. I started reading articles about early retirement. I calculated how many more months until I could quit my job. At this rate, I'd have $10,000 in, let's see. If I make $400 a week, that's $1,600 a month. So I need $8,000 more, which means 5 months. I'd be rich by summer. Week 2, it went up to $2,800. I'm texting my friends. I'm giving people investment advice. Me, the guy who thought a 401k was a type of marathon. Week 3, it dropped to $2,200. Okay, that's fine. Investments go up and down. I read that somewhere. Probably. Week 4, $1,500. Week 5, $900. What is happening? Week 6, $400. No. By week 7, the whole thing basically collapsed. The developers abandoned it. Turns out, SafeMoon was just a bunch of people at the top cashing out while everyone else held worthless coins. I lost $1,900 in 6 weeks. I sat there staring at my phone thinking, I could have bought 950 tacos with that money. 950 tacos! Why didn't I just buy the tacos? So after I finished feeling sorry for myself, which took about 3 days and involved way too much ice cream, I decided I needed to understand what actually happened. Because here's the thing, I genuinely thought I was making a smart decision. I didn't think I was gambling. I thought I was investing. There's a difference, right? Right? So I started digging into this tulip thing from the 1600s, and oh man, it's like looking in a mirror, except the mirror is 400 years old, and everyone's wearing weird puffy pants. Here's what happened. In the Netherlands around 1636, tulips became crazy popular. They were exotic, they were beautiful, and rich people wanted them for their gardens. Normal stuff so far. But then people realized, wait, if rich people want tulips, and tulips are hard to grow, then tulip bulbs are going to be worth more in the future, right? So people started buying tulip bulbs not to plant them, but to sell them later at a higher price. And then other people saw those people making money, so they started buying tulip bulbs to sell later. And pretty soon, nobody cared about the actual flowers anymore. They just cared about whether the price would go up. At the peak of Tulip Mania, a single bulb, one bulb, could sell for 5,200 guilders. To put that in perspective, the average yearly income back then was about 150 guilders. So one tulip bulb cost the equivalent of 34 years of salary. Let me do that math with today's money. If the average American makes about $60,000 a year, that's like paying $2 million for a single tulip bulb. $2 million for a flower bulb. People were trading their houses, their land, their businesses, everything they owned for tulips they never even planned to plant. And here's the kicker. The bulbs weren't even rare. They were just bulbs. You could grow more. They weren't gold or diamonds or anything actually scarce. People just believed they were valuable, so they became valuable. Until one day in February, 1637, someone showed up to a tulip auction and nobody wanted to buy. Just like that. The spell broke. Everyone realized at the same exact moment, wait, why are we paying a house for a flower? Prices crashed overnight. People who'd spent their entire life savings were suddenly holding worthless bulbs. Families were ruined. Some people never financially recovered. And I'm sitting there reading this thinking, that sounds familiar. Because that's exactly what happened with SafeMoon. and with dozens of other cryptocurrencies, and with NFTs, and with about 50 other things I've seen people dump money into. It's not that the thing itself is worthless. Tulips are nice. Cryptocurrency has interesting technology behind it. It's that the price stops being connected to any actual value. It's like if I bought a beer for $5, that makes sense. But if someone told me that same beer would be worth $50 next week and $500 the week after that, and I should buy as many as I can right now, I'd think they were nuts. But make it digital, add some complicated words like blockchain and decentralized, show me some graphs going up, and suddenly my brain goes, yeah, this makes total sense. Take my money. Actually, I could really go for a beer right now. A regular priced beer. The worst part? I wasn't even in early. By the time I heard about SafeMoon, it had already gone up 1,000%. The people who made money had already made it and were cashing out. I was just providing the exit liquidity. Fancy words for I'm the sucker holding the bag. And there were warning signs. So many warning signs. The website looked like it was made in 20 minutes. The white paper was full of spelling errors. Anonymous developers. Promises of guaranteed returns. But I ignored all of it because I wanted it to be true. I wanted to believe I'd stumbled onto easy money. Just like those Dutch tulip buyers in 1637. 400 years, same mistake, different flower. Okay, so after I finished comparing myself to a 17th century Dutch guy in puffy pants, which was not great for my self-esteem, I decided I needed an actual plan. A real one. Not a get-rich-quick plan, but a stop-being-an-idiot plan. And here's what I figured out. First, I needed to accept that I lost that money. It's gone. Not coming back. No magical recovery. I spent about 2 weeks checking the SafeMoon price every hour hoping for a miracle. And you know what that got me? Nothing except stress and less sleep. So I deleted the app, mourned my $1,900, and moved on. Second, I took the $400 I had left and put it in a regular savings account. Not a high-yield account, not some special investment account. Just a basic savings account that pays about 0.5% interest annually. Is that exciting? No. Will I get rich from it? Absolutely not. But will it still be there next month? Yes. And right now, that's what I need. That $400 sitting in savings earning like $2 a year feels way better than watching $2,000 evaporate into nothing. Third, and this is the hard part, I had to figure out what actual investing looks like. Not gambling, not speculation. Actual investing. I talked to my cousin who's a financial advisor. Not the cousin who told me about the flavored oxygen company, a different cousin. A responsible one who wears boring ties. He explained it like this. Real investing is boring. It's slow. It's predictable. You put money into things like index funds that track the entire stock market, and over 20 or 30 years, it grows by an average of about 7% to 10% per year after inflation. 7 to 10%, not 400%, not 1,000%, 7 to 10%. I did the math, correctly this time with a calculator. If I invest $200 a month into an index fund averaging 8% annual returns, after 30 years, I'd have about $298,000. At first I thought, that's it? That's so slow. I'll be old by then. But then I realized, you know what's slower? Starting over from zero every time I lose money chasing magic beans. And here's the thing, my cousin explained that really clicked. Those Dutch tulip buyers, they weren't stupid. The people who lost money in the 2008 housing crash, not stupid. Everyone who bought crypto at the peak in 2021, not stupid. They just got caught up in something that felt like it made sense because everyone around them was doing it. The trick isn't to be smarter. The trick is to be more boring. So here's my actual plan now. Step 1. I'm rebuilding my emergency fund. $1,000 first, then eventually $3,000. That goes in a regular savings account where I can't lose it. Even at 0.5% interest, that's still $15 a year for doing literally nothing. Better than losing $1,900. Step 2, I opened a Roth IRA and I'm putting $100 a month into a total stock market index fund. It's automatic. It comes out of my paycheck before I can spend it on something dumb. In 1 year, that'll be $1,200 invested. Not exciting, but it's $1,200 more than I have now. Step 3, I'm paying off my credit card. I owe $1,100 at 22% APR. I was paying $50 a month, which mostly just covered interest. I ran the numbers. At that rate, it would take me 28 months to pay it off and cost me $300 in interest. So instead, I'm paying $150 a month. That cuts it down to 8 months and only $90 in interest. I'm saving $210 just by paying it off faster. At first I thought, but I can't afford $150 a month. Then I realized I just lost $1,900 on SafeMoon. I clearly had money to waste. I just wasted it on the wrong thing. Step 4, and this is the one that hurts. No more opportunities. No more hot tips. No more coins with rocket emojis. If I can't explain the investment to my mom in under 2 minutes using small words, I'm not buying it. If someone promises guaranteed returns, I'm out. If everyone's talking about it on social media, I'm already too late. If it sounds too good to be true, it's because it is too good to be true. You know what else is boring but reliable? A sandwich. Nobody ever lost their life savings on a sandwich. Maybe I should base all my financial decisions on sandwich logic. Actually, that's not the worst idea I've ever had. So here's the thing I keep coming back to. I'm not mad at myself anymore. I mean, I was. For a while there, I felt like the dumbest person on earth. I kept thinking, how could I fall for that? And everyone else must think I'm such an idiot. But then I remembered. People have been falling for this exact same thing for literally 400 years. Tulips, railroads, .com stocks, real estate, crypto. The story never changes, just the packaging. And yeah, I lost $1,900. That hurts. That's a lot of money for me. But you know what? I learned a $1,900 lesson. Some people lose their houses. Some people lose their retirement. Some people lose everything. I got off relatively easy. The main thing I figured out, and this is the part I wish someone had told me earlier, is that there's no secret. There's no shortcut. There's no magic investment that's going to make you rich in 3 months. The people who build wealth do it slowly, boringly, consistently. They put money away every month for decades and don't touch it. They don't check it every day. They don't panic when it goes down. They just wait. And I know that's not exciting. It's not a good story. Nobody's going to make a YouTube video titled, "Man Contributes to Index Fund for 30 Years, Retires Comfortably." But you know what? That's fine. I don't need my finances to be exciting anymore. I need them to be stable. I need to stop feeling sick every time I check my bank account. So if you're watching this, and you've also lost money on something stupid, whether it's crypto or tulips or flavored oxygen or whatever, just know you're not alone. You're not an idiot. You're just human. And humans have been making the same dumb mistakes since at least 1637. The good news is you can stop anytime. You can be boring. You can invest in index funds and savings accounts and just let time do its thing. It won't make you rich next month, but it also won't make you broke. And honestly, after the year I've had, not broke sounds pretty good. So here's what I want you to do. If this video helped at all, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment telling me the dumbest thing you've ever spent money on. I promise it'll make both of us feel better. And if you learned something, or if you just enjoyed watching me explain how I lost $1,900 on internet coins, share this with someone who might need to hear it. Because the only thing better than learning an expensive lesson yourself is learning it from someone else's expensive lesson for free. All right, I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich and not invest my sandwich money in anything that promises to turn my sandwich into 10 sandwiches. Sandwich? See you in the next one.